Hello and welcome back to my craft room. Well, the great day has finally arrived. It's the 1st of November 2023 and so it's time for the Great Big Little Stitchery Take 2 to kick off. We've all been very excited about this for ages. Some people have had their list together for weeks. I have my list is all full, but I haven't started any stitching yet or even completely decided exactly what I'm going to be doing for my squares. So first of all, before I go any further, in case anyone's watching this who has no idea what I'm talking about and how the Great Big Little Stitchery Swap works, I will put all the guidelines in the description box, and they will also be in the Arty Farty Annie group on Facebook and in the Stitchery Swap room in our free Discord community. But just to give you a rough idea, the idea is that you make a little stitched square, 10 centimetres or 4 inches square, with a seam allowance around it of about a centimetre, 3/8 of an inch, whatever. That's not crucial. It's just enough so that some people like to stitch them together into all of their swaps that they receive into a quilt or mount them onto something, so it's good to have that extra seam allowance. But you don't need to finish the edges, don't worry about that, and you don't need to do anything, you don't need to worry about the backs. In fact, there are a lot of people like me who like to see messy backs. To look at all the stitching on the back, it just makes me feel more connected with the person that's made that square for me. You need to decide how many squares you want to do, so you could just swap just one square with a special someone, or you can be mad like me and make 45, which is what I did last time. This time I'm not. I'm limiting myself to 15. You need to decide where you're happy to swap with, which country you're happy to, whether you want to just stay within your own country or swap with people all over the world. Bear in mind that the postage can get expensive. If you keep your squares pretty flat and just put them inside a card in a normal envelope, they should just go like a card, like you would post a card. That's what I did. And please don't feel like you've got to put extra bits and bobs in. It's so lovely when people, it's so sweet when people send extra goodies, and that's always fun to get, but please don't feel obliged to do that. Most people didn't. A few people did, and that was really lovely, but especially if you're posting overseas, that can get quite expensive. So then you need to find your swapsters. That's what I call them, the people you're going to swap with. And the way you do that, I don't take any responsibility for that at all. You don't need to contact me to get put on a list or anything like that. All you need to do is go onto the Arty Farty Annie group on Facebook. All of this will be linked below. It will be in my link tree. Now, it's not the Arty Farty Annie page, because that won't let you post. You want the Arty Farty Annie group, and it's called that, Arty Farty Annie group on Facebook. You need to go there, or you need to go into the free Discord community. There's a Stitchery Swap room there. So you go to either of those places and you say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm in whichever country you're in. I'd like to swap with however many people in whichever countries you're happy to swap with. If you're doing that in the Discord community, you can go to both Discord and Facebook. In the Discord community, make sure you do that in the Stitchery Swap room. Any questions about any of this, we're a lovely, friendly, helpful group of people, and somebody will always just go, oh, can anyone help me with it? Somebody will always help you out if you're confused about anything. If you're in the Facebook group, you need to make sure in your post that you say Stitchery Swap, because there will also be an art swap going on, and it has caused confusion a couple of times. And then people can comment on your post and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, would you like to swap with me? And you say, yeah, I'll personal message you. Make sure you always either use Messenger in Facebook or direct messaging in Discord. Again, someone will always help you out if you're not sure how to do that. I'll give you a quick look at both of them in a minute. And then you can private message each other to swap addresses. Please don't share addresses openly in the chat. Don't ever share your personal details there. If you go into direct messaging in Discord or Messenger on Facebook, you can swap your addresses safely. You're only sharing them with the person you're messaging with, so that's safe. Just don't do it in the open group. And then you just make your squares and you send your squares to each other. The deadline for posting them out is the 31st of December. Again, all of this will be in the guidelines. Now, that doesn't mean you have to get it to them by the 31st of December and panic and think I've got to post them by the end of November because of Christmas post. And I've heard a few people sort of worrying about that. You don't need to, as long as you have posted your squares out by the 31st of December, you're okay. And chances are I'm going to be up against the deadline again, because that's how I roll. And I have warned my recipients that they may not get their squares until January 2024. But I reckon that'll be a nice little bright spot to look forward to after Christmas, eh? That's what I think. I know some people, so don't panic. If you see, I know some people are all ready to send their squares off as soon as the swap starts. If you see people's posts with people already receiving their squares, please don't panic and let that spoil it for you. I know some people got a bit stressed about it. It's a slow stitching project. It's called slow for a reason. That's what I always say. It's meant to be de-stressing, not distressing. That's going to be my new catchphrase. So take your time, enjoy the process. Don't take on more than you want to commit to. You can always just do a couple to start with and then ask for more swapsters later on. During the last swap, people were still asking for new people were still coming in and asking for swapsters right up to the deadline, so you can always get more swaps if you want to later on. So don't overcommit yourself. You want this to be an enjoyable, relaxing, joyful process. The whole idea of this was to celebrate both our love of this hobby and also the online friendships that are evolving through all of this. And it was just, the whole thing was just such a joyful process. It blew us all away. It just really blossomed, and it was just such a wonderful way to connect with everyone. It was just, the whole process from making the squares for people to opening the squares. I mean, every single time I got really emotional. I loved watching other people opening their squares as well, and posting the squares that had gone, the outgoing and incoming squares on Facebook and Instagram and in Discord. It was just, the whole experience was amazing, and most of us who did it last time couldn't wait to do it again. In fact, some people didn't wait. They've already started. So I've actually said what the stitching needs to be. So it can be any kind of stitching. Last time it was all slow stitching, hand stitching, but this time what we're saying is, if you want to do machine stitching, that's fine. So if you like to do like free motion machine embroidery or machine quilting or whatever, that's fine as well. As long as it's stitching, any kind of stitching is fine. And don't feel like it's got to be really fancy or really perfect. I'm not an embroiderer. That's why I love slow stitching, because it's very casual and easy going. It doesn't, embrace the imperfection. Nobody's expecting an embroidered masterpiece, so don't feel daunted. And you will see some beautiful pieces being posted. I felt quite I had to give myself a slap on the wrist to stop myself feeling daunted by the other work that I saw going out, because we're all in different places and we all have different styles, and Now, have I covered everything? I'm aware that I'm very rambling here, and I should have written myself some notes to follow. To be honest, if I'd written the notes, I wouldn't have followed them anyway. In a minute, we'll have a look at the Discord community and the Facebook group, so you know what to expect. And we'll also have a look at, this is the most exciting bit for me, and I hope you're all going to love it as much as I do. It's taken me hours and days. It's taken me days to put together. I've done an online gallery of all the Stitchery swaps I could find from last time, so I may have missed some where they weren't hashtagged or whatever. I definitely may have missed some, but there are well over 500 in there, and I think if you're looking for inspiration, it's a really good place to start. I'll give you a peek of that in a minute, and I will link the gallery in the description box as well. It's going to be a lot of links this time. I need to remember them all. I also have pretty much finished the first volume of my I'm calling this is where I've put all of my squares that came in, my treasures. I'm calling it my Treasury of Stitches, but I had so many that I've got to make at least 3 books like this. It may even go into 4 actually, so I'm going to give you a peek at that in a minute. In fact, should we do that first? Should we have a look at that first? I don't know what to do first. I'm so excited. Bring it down a bit. So this is, I've finished. I have been showing the process of how I put this book together, so I will link in the description box you'll also find a link to the I will link to the Great Big Little Stitchery playlist here on my YouTube channel, because you can get a good idea then of the kind of squares that came in and how the whole thing worked, and so this is I've got 3 different ways I want to try putting fabric books together, and 3 different styles of cover. This was the crazy patchwork style one, and I actually used some beautiful pieces that were sent to me with one of the swaps. These came from Pat Havel, these hearts, and this piece, this heart. And then the others were just different scraps that I've got. And I just did a very simple wraparound closure. It's my favourite kind of closure because it's so easy and it expands. So I just put this simple calico book together. Just embroidered my words. Now see, you can see my embroidery is not by a long way perfect. But I really enjoyed doing it. I thought that turned out really cute. And what I've done is I've given each of my squares a page of its own, and I've put them together into pairs that kind of complement each other, and I've embroidered the stitcher's name on each one as well, and somehow tried to do a little bit of stitching around it that in some way reflects the style or the colour or the stitches used on each of the squares. So you can see it's about the colours here largely, but there was a lot of straight stitching here that Kate's done, and I've echoed that there, and the colours. Oh, I meant to go back in and add some sequins, but I forgot. I have to go back, won't I? Here's this one from Lisa. So I liked how she had these flowers peeking out from the little hexes there, so I've put the flowers peeking out here. And I've just left them open so that I can always look at the backs. But Lisa tidied hers up, look. Leslie Nitchkurt, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. You'll see her in the gallery in a minute, I'll show you. Look at this, I loved the circles that she did here, so I echoed them on the page. That's her name. I'm whizzing through these very quickly. They're going to be just so lovely for me over the years that I will take these out so many times. Just when I need, just when I need a bit of inspiration or just a little bit of a happy moment. Take them out and have a look at them and see all the details. And the process of putting these together made me appreciate each square over again and really look at the details again, In this one that Lucy made, I loved this little motif that she did here, so I echoed that. I've still got a stitch the sequins back on there as well. Loved that. She did a lot of French knots as well, so I put French knots there and little star shapes that she did. So it's just really echoing what the stitcher did in their square they made. This one's Angie Russell. I just love nothing. I love nothing better than just this straight kind of canter stitching. I just love it. So if you want to keep it simple, just get some of your favourite little bits of fabric and just straight stitch them. See how simple that is, but how beautiful. Heidi, rainbows. Picked up the rainbow there. And I've got a little repair to do on that button. That button was broken, but I saved the other half. I'm going to do one of those kind of visible mends on it. This one I did a little spray of flowers coming out because I loved all that. There's actually, it doesn't, even looking at it here, you don't straight away see how much stitching there is in this. She's stitched into the pattern, and there's tiny seed stitches all in that background, and loads of perfectly done French knots around here. And look at that monogram. It's so neat that I thought she'd done a monogram on the back. This is so neat on the back. Michelle, this is Michelle Askew. I had two, so we got that's Michelle Rhea and that's Michelle Askew. They both ended up together, but coincidentally. Love this. Look at all this. Look at this. I did a little stitch that Maggie Morris told me about there. I forgot what it's called, but it was really fun. So I framed it nicely. Here's Deb, who used pearly buttons, which she has a phobia about. So she was facing her demon to make me this square. That funny noise is Tom on the Skype. Oh, forgot what I got to, but just done a lot of little seed stitch in there to reflect what Deb had done there. Always love little houses. So I put these together because of the house motif. These it was colour. Those it's kind of the shapes. There it's the stitching style and the colours. Yeah, so I paired them up for different reasons. I've added some extra sequins around this one from Nancy. Oh, this one, I loved this one. So this is Debbie. Now, where was Debbie? I think Debbie's in the USA. And I loved the butterfly trail, so I just carried them on underneath and did a little bit of this, because you can't see it too well there, but that's not background pattern, that's tiny fine seed stitching. So I did a little bit of it here, but only a little bit. You can see how tiny hers is on the back. Look at that. Here's Canada. Here's Diane. From Canada. Yep, loved. I mean, you can see how beautiful all of these are, can't you? How much inspiration and joy this is going to bring me for years to come. Here's Sylvia and Snoppy. So these are the two I think I got these two first. I got these within a few days of the first swap starting. So I kept this one quite simple. I just echoed the idea that she's got this spray of flowers and foliage of the deer's antlers there, and just put some of those there. I made her little name there. Again, I continued the garden theme. Snoppy, Karen. These were two of the three that Pat sent me, along with those beautiful pieces that you saw on the front, and some other lovely pieces as well. So yeah, this one's done like a kawandi, a mini kawandi. So she put the little triangle corners that you put on a kawandi. She put them in as well. They're cute. I've got messages going back and forth. Sorry. Love this as well. Love this little gathered up little strip of beautiful. It looks like a piece of I don't know what it is, but it's a lovely little piece of fabric all crumpled up there. Buttons, always different. There's a herringbone stitch. I think I echoed the herringbone up there as well that she'd used. Here I've put some cross stitch along the top, so it pulls them all together. Cross stitches here and here. Yeah. So already just doing this. Oh, I was going to say I've forgotten Pat's name. I haven't, because it's here. Yeah, it's already inspiring me, because it's making me think of using herringbone stitch to attach my squares, my pieces. And this is the last one from Pat. I've put Pat there again. Yeah. And again, just echoed the stitches that she's used and kept it very pastel, that one, which is why it's ended up opposite this one from Hazel. Another little spray of flowers. You can see, can't you, how you can see why I've called it my treasury. Just every single one is a treasure. This one from Sue. I've just taken the sort of echoed that and that. I loved this little thing that she did here, these little detached kind of Y stitches, fly stitches, whatever they are, with the beads on the end. I didn't have any beads handy, so I just did it with French knots, but I just loved that. I thought it was so pretty. I love how she's used the net over the top there as well, and I always like it when you use the selvage. Yeah. This one from Mary Chen in Brunei. Again, carry that glorious garden there on, and I loved how she did this flower shape in the straight stitches. So I've done that there as well. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So much work in them. This one was from Rachel, who wasn't even into slow stitching. She just started it, and so she sent me one of these squares, which is so lovely. And it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And I've just again echoed the colours and the stitches that she's used, and put some sequins down there for a bit of bling. And so these two go together because they're kind of blingy in the colours and stuff, but it's nice that they're together because this is from Jen, who sent Rachel a whole package of slow stitching stuff to get her started, and Rachel really got into it. I think she sent Jen a square as well, and yeah, so it's not, I thought they go together so well, and they kind of go together in more ways than one. And I've done I loved the kind of randomness of this, and I did that with the line here as well. Crunchy, random and crunchy, so rich. Love it. And just a little sprinkle there. That's the end of my book. So there is that is my first volume. That I've got at least twice that much to go, so I may end up with 3 books rather than 2 more books. I'm going to try and keep them into 3, but the next couple will be fatter than that. So now let's have a look at the gallery. I cannot wait to show you the gallery. So before we go to the gallery though, I just wanted to run over, there were a few things, issues with it that made it a little bit difficult, more than a little bit difficult. This has taken me days to put together. So I asked people to use the hashtag Stitchery Swap, and a lot of people did, posting on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. As in the Discord community, it's easy because you can just post them in the Stitchery Swap room, so I didn't, it's easy to pick those up. Hashtags are a bit difficult because, for a start, people don't always use them. Sometimes they use them, but they decide to put a space between Stitchery and Swap, and it just doesn't work. It's hashtag Stitchery, so that doesn't come up. Sometimes I just find them randomly. Sometimes they just leave out one letter and actually put Stitchery Swap or something. Sometimes they put hashtag Annie or hashtag Arty Annie, and that doesn't come up in the search at all. And sometimes Facebook and Instagram and YouTube are just really random about how they show you the hashtags. So like with Instagram, I had to go onto I usually work on my PC, especially when I'm trying to put something like a gallery together. But I had to then go on my phone and use the app, because I couldn't, all it would show me was the top 9 posts on Instagram. So that was no good. I could see there were 123 posts and it was showing me 9. Then when I finally got there, I found that like 50 of the 123 posts were my own, which I already had. So it's a bit of a palaver. Then what a lot of people were doing was just saying, kind of not giving the person's whole name, or just saying Chris, so I wouldn't know which Chris it was. So I did a bit of detective work with the people whose work I know really well, because there was lots and lots of it. If I'd already got Christine Oakley, so that's Create and Craft with Christine, and somebody just put Chris, I would know it was her piece. I know all of her pieces. So I could put 2 and 2 together. So there was a bit of detective work going on. Some people, of course, only want don't want to have the whole name shown anyway. So that's fine. But I was just trying to be consistent through the gallery. There were a couple of squares that had been attributed to 2 different people. So that's still a bit of, I'll show you one of them in a minute, because I just couldn't decide who to put it under. I couldn't find any definite, But maybe if I show you it in a minute, someone will be able to say, oh yeah, no, it was so-and-so did that one. Then I had to find links for people. So for some people where I knew they had a YouTube channel or whatever, or Instagram, I've done it. But I haven't with everybody. But I can always add links. I'll come to that later. I also wanted to try to organise them in the gallery into countries where they've been made, but people didn't always say what the country was. So a lot of people have gone in unspecified country page, but that's fine. I just wanted to split it up, a little bit to make it easier to look at, really. The most tricky problems was the actual photos. So a lot of the photos weren't that great and had been taken at an angle, so they came out sort of this shape instead of square. A lot of people have posted a montage of 9 squares, say, all different. So I had to crop them. I had to save that one image and then crop it 9 times and save it. Then they had given a whole list of people, but they hadn't really said which square belonged to which person. So again, I had to do a little bit of detective work, thinking, well, I know that looks like so-and-so style, she must have done it that way round. So it was a little bit tricky. So firstly, in a minute I will go through how we can, if you spot any errors when you look at the gallery, how we can put those right. And secondly, I just wanted to say, going forward, now we're going into this new Stitchery Swap, I think you're going to love the gallery. It was worth the pain, because I just think it looks amazing, and it's going to be a real source of inspiration for us all. So I will do a gallery next time, but for this second swap, let's learn from what happened before. If you would like the squares that you're making to be included in the next gallery, you will need to email me the photo. Take a photo before you send your squares out and email it to me. My email, I will put my link tree in the description box. You'll find my email in there. I don't think I want to undertake to have to trawl all the different social media platforms again, because that was just too big of a task. If they all come to my email, I know I can check them. I can check them off as I go. I know I've covered it. It will be a lot easier that way. So email me put the subject gallery in the subject line of your email, put gallery, because then I can search for that easily. Attach a photo of the squares that you're sending out. Take the photos before you send them out. Take them in the best possible light you can. Just put one square, the whole square, and nothing but the square in each photo, and get right over it so that it's square on, because it's difficult when you get photos that come out shaped like that. It doesn't do them, you've done all of that work. It's got to be worth taking the time to try and get the best photo you can. Do it in really good natural light if you can. I tend to use my bathroom or the conservatory, because I've got windows coming from all directions, so it's just easier to get, and kind of a natural diffuse light, not a big stripe of sunshine across it, because that doesn't help either, or shadow, it throws shadows and things. An overcast day is sometimes the best light. It's easy for me to crop. I can do that as I put it into the gallery, but I don't have time when you're looking at 500 or more squares. I don't have time to adjust the lighting and change the angle and things. I just can't do it. It's just daft. I did some of them. I did doctor a bit, and where there were duplicates, I tried to pick the best photo. So sometimes I'd already uploaded a square and I thought, hang on a minute, that's a better picture of that square I've already uploaded. I'll go in and alter that. But of course all of that does take a long time, and I don't want to commit myself to do that again. I'm very happy that I did it. I think it's worth it, but we can learn from it going forward. So the square, the whole square, and nothing but the square. Get straight on, best natural light you can. Include the name you want displayed in the gallery and one link. I can't do more than one link per square. So choose whether you want to link to your YouTube channel or your blog or whatever you want to link to, or not at all. You don't have to have a link. And which country you're in. That's all you need. So your name, your country, your name as you want it to be displayed, your country, and any links, and a good photo of each square. You can attach multiple photos to each email, that's fine, but make them separate photos. That will just make it so much easier for me. So if when you look at the gallery in a minute you see that your squares aren't there at all, you can still do that with your squares from the last gallery, with your squares from the last swap. Just let me know that it is for the last swap, and I'll add them in. If you see your name is spelt wrong, or a square has been attributed to someone else and you made it, just let me know. Again, email me, put gallery in the subject, and just say let me know which country in the gallery they're listed in, because that's how I've stored all the photos on my drive as well. Let me know what country the offending square is shown in, and what name it's shown under, and if there's a mistake in the spelling, or it's been attributed to the wrong person, or you want a link added or anything like that, just let me know. But in order to identify it, you'll need to tell me which page it's in the gallery, which country it's in the gallery, and which name it's listed under in the gallery. Then I should be able to find it and make sure we're singing from the same hymn sheet. So all of that said, shall we have a look at the gallery? I cannot wait to show you. It looks amazing. I'm so proud of us all, I really am. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now and show you the gallery. So here we go. Here's the Stitchery Swap gallery. That beautiful piece at the top, that brightly coloured piece there, is from one of those pieces that Maggie Morris sent me, the lovely Maggie Morris, and she sent me a whole stack of beautiful stitchery. You might remember from a previous video. You'll see some more of her work in a minute. And Christine Preston also sent me some lovely stitchery. I didn't do the swap with them, they just sent me these beautiful pieces, and wherever they were square I've included them in the gallery, and they will go in my Treasury books. But yeah, you'll see more of them in a minute. So it's arranged like this in countries: UK, Canada, USA, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, which is empty, rest of world, which is at the moment it's just Brunei. It's Mary Chen in Brunei representing the rest of the world. New Zealand is solely Paula Lister at the moment, is the sole representative for New Zealand, and country unspecified, which is where I put all the ones where people posted squares but didn't say where they were from. So let's have a look at the UK first. Now if you notice, when I hover over here, a little hand icon appears, so I know I can click on it. It will be different, this will look different depending on what device you're looking on, and it may take a few seconds to load. You can see there it took a second to finish loading. And here we go, and they're all listed here. They're all pictured, every single square is here with the name of the person who made it underneath. And what I've done is with each page, with each country, the first ones that have gone in are the ones that I received. So they're just there in no particular order. I just started with them because I already had them on my PC, so it was easy. So you get a real random selection of the kind of thing. Look at the variety. Just, you know, there's so much creativity, so much variety, so much talent here. It's just absolutely an inspiration. Here are a lot of those pieces from Christine Preston, so wherever any of the pieces that were square I've included here, and they will go into my books as well. And then here are the pieces from Maggie Morris, so some of her pieces were other shapes as well, but I've put the square ones here as part of the gallery, and they will go in my book as well. So I have tried to, although up here these are all the ones that I got and they're in whatever order, the ones I picked up afterwards that went to other people, I've tried to group them into the person that made them. But it took a lot of backing and forthing, so I may have cocked up a bit here and there. So again, if you spot anything out of order, just, you know, give me a shout and I can always change it. So look at these beautiful ones from Snoppy here. Whole lot. You can see the people that were really prolific. Whole lot from Jackie Perry, who I think ended up making two for a lot of people because some went astray. Hazel. Whole lot from Sylvia was very prolific as well. And there is the Annie Claxton show. 445 of them. Oops, I've just gone past again now. I'll leave you to go through to enjoy going through this yourself. In a minute. I put Rachel next to Jen here as well. Now Rachel's other square that you saw in the book just now, of course, is up in that first batch that I received. So you'll notice that if you hover over the squares, if I hover over these ones by Deb here, my cursor doesn't change. But if I hover over a square and a hand icon appears, that means there's a link. So if I click on this link now, this is Teresa Mitchell, it's going to take me to her Instagram page. And that's probably because I picked up some of her, oh, look at that. And you can see some of her other amazing creations there. So you can check out other things they've been doing. So with Tori, if I click on one of these squares by Tori, it'll go to her YouTube channel. So where I know a link, I've added a link. Where I'm not sure, I've just left it. But you can always, as I said just now, you can email me and ask for a link to be included. I can only include one link per square. So I'm not going to carefully look at all of these now because I'll leave you the fun of doing that in a minute. When you're looking at the gallery, if you want to look at a square more closely, I've put a reminder about this at the top as well. If there's a link, you left click to look at the link. If you right click, now it will be different. If you're looking on a phone, it will probably be a long press. If you're looking at it on a tablet, you can probably just expand the image by, with your finger movement. But on this PC, if I right click, a little menu comes up here, and I can choose to save the image. If I want to download it, I can save that image, or I can open image in new tab. And if I do that, it comes up huge, so I can have a look at all the details. And as I say, if you're on a different device, you'll do that in a different way, but you should be able to get a good look at the details. It will depend on the size of the file that I had. So if that was a nice, big, proper, full-size original file for that photo, sometimes that the original photo file isn't so big, and you won't get that level. It won't come up that big. You won't get that level of detail, but. I've just included the photos that as they've been posted online, so that's out of my control. So let's have a quick look at Canada. I'll have a quick look at each of these, but I'll leave you to explore them. So not so many people in Canada. There's 3 people. So we've got Nicole, Deb and Diane. Beautiful. Well done, Canada. USA. Very well represented. Again, these are all the ones that I got at the beginning, and then we're going into the ones that other people got, so where I've arranged them into. So Angie Russell's are all together there, and and so on. beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Like, I'm just whizzing through because I think you'll enjoy going through these by yourself. Australia. Now there's a, I said just now I'll show you that name that I might have said wrong just now. Nitschke. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, Leslie. Beautiful square though. There's Christine there, so that'll go to the link there will go to Christine's YouTube channel. Her opening her squares was just amazing. we both got so emotional every square that we opened, and you can see how prolific she was. Look at these beautiful creations of hers. Just I mean, it blows me away seeing all this. So here we go, New Zealand, the Paula Lister show. I love this. This is so Paula's personality. I've never met Paula in person, but I just feel like I know her so well, and I think her personality really comes through, and is so colourful and so fun, so beautifully done. Yeah, amazing, beautiful work. These first two, these are the ones that she sent to me. She sent me 2. Europe, there's nothing in there. Rest of the world is solely being represented by Mary Chen in Brunei at the moment, but look at this beautiful work. Just look at it. Absolutely incredible detail. Now country unspecified is where I've put all of the ones where people posted a square but didn't say where they were made, so I've just popped them all in here. I've still grouped them into individual people's names. I just and sometimes like Claire Hulot here is a good case in point. Sometimes I just saw her as Claire. I saw Claire H. I saw Claire Hulot. I also saw her as Purple Poppy because that's how I've linked to her, Purple Poppy. And eventually I realised, oh right, yeah, that's all the same person. So to be consistent, I've made them all say Claire Hulot. Looking at all this, it just leaves me just speechless. What a talented lot you are. We are. I'm so proud of us. There we go, back home again. That is a quick look at the gallery. Isn't it amazing? I hope you all like it as much as I do. I'm so blown away. I'm so blown away by it. I'm fairly certain that I will have missed some. So yes, do let me know if you don't see your squares then, you'd like them included and you've got photos, or you could perhaps get in touch with your recipients who will have taken photos. Send me those photos in the way I described just now. I'll put my link tree, my email will be in there. The last thing I just want to do is just a quick look at, because I've been going on way too long, I have to cut this right down. This is ridiculous. It was just going to be a quick video, but then I realised it can't be really. It's too much to cover. Okay, I really think that's quite enough waffle from me. It's time to get this edited to about half the length of time. And get this posted and kick this whole thing off, although obviously it's already going. The main thing is to enjoy this process. Ask questions. If you've got any questions at all, please ask. You can ask in the comments here, you can email me, you can ask anybody in the Facebook or Discord groups. People are so helpful and friendly. It's such a lovely, warm, friendly, supportive community. I'm so proud of it. We all are. It's just yeah. And the main thing is to have fun. Just enjoy this whole joyful process and de-stress, not distress. Okay, that's quite enough from me for today. Thank you very much for joining me. If I've missed anything, because I'm aware I've been rambling all over the place, please don't be afraid to ask questions. I will look forward to seeing the amazing stitchery pieces that everyone creates this time. Did I actually mention the theme this time? Did I remember to say the theme in amongst all of this? Okay, I'm going to say about it now, and then I'll cut this out if I've already said it earlier on. I really hope I didn't forget. We have got an optional theme for the stitched squares this time. It's partly confusing because I started recording it all once, then realised I was just a shambles and started all over again. So some of what I think I've already said, I probably haven't this time. The optional theme, should you wish to use it, you don't have to. If you've got an idea of what you want to do for your squares, just do whatever you like, it's fine. But some people like a theme to get them going, just to get your cogs turning. The optional theme, I'll put it here, is my favourite ... So this could be your favourite, whatever, you fill in the blank. It could be your favourite colour, your favourite stitch, favourite fabrics, your favourite technique, your favourite place or food, cake, your favourite flower. If it's your favourite place, it could just be a flower to represent your garden, or a pair of scissors to represent your sewing room. Your favourite embellishment could be buttons, whatever. Your favourite animal, it can be whatever you want to do, wherever you want to take that theme is fine, or ignore the theme altogether. It's just there if you want to use it. Okay, so I think that really is it. Thank you so much for joining me. Have fun. I will look forward to seeing you all online, whether it's in Discord or Facebook or on here. I bet it'll be even better this time. It was amazing last time. If we all have half as much fun as I had last time, it's going to be a blast. Thanks again, and I'll see you all again really soon. Bye. Sorry if that was a shambles.